Welcome, everybody, to the Stone Down Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. I'm really happy to be back here with everyone today after a very brief hiatus. Tuesday, it was for a great reason, though. Do want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching us live, which is no one right now, but hopefully people drop in. Anyone who's watching or listening later, those of you who comment, all of that, we really appreciate it, and it makes for a better experience for everybody. We're going to be diving into some week 4 NFL today. But before we do that, I do want to introduce these two young bucks here with me today, Kyle and Ramey. Ramey, we've got a good one going tonight. Detroit is up in Green Bay, FTP. I was going to pick this game as my lock of the week. I think Detroit covers the 2.5. I think they win by a field goal. What are your thoughts? I think it'll be a good game, though, either way.
I think so too. It's good to have you back, Matt. We've missed
Thank you.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly you can get yourself out of prison these days. So
I called Saul.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game tonight. I think it's going to probably be a field goal game. If the Lions want to be different than what they have been, this is a game they need to win. Granted, they did beat the Packers twice last year. They didn't score a ton of points in those games. I think they scored 34 points total in both games. So it's a Thursday night game. It's a short turnaround for both teams. Green Bay's coming off a comeback win. The Lions kind of rolled over the Falcons. I think it's going to be a really good game and an opportunity for the Lions to kind of take the lead in the division. I'm looking forward to it. I'm afraid to call on Kyle because we still have 2 minutes before he can say any swears.
We'll be fine. We'll be good. You gentlemen doing good tonight?
Doing great.
Dude, I'm ready for Thursday night football. Lions, if they win there tonight, they would, hold on. Let me think what I was writing earlier. They would achieve something they haven't done in more than 6 years, and that's not held a division lead outright in week 4 or later since week 15 of the 2016 NFL season. So quite a while ago, we've been in the basement. So, but these Lions are different. Anytime they faced adversity in the past, they'd fold, and this is different. Dan Campbell's got them playing different, thinking different, and they've responded. They're a good team. FTP, if you remember last year, the Lions kept Green Bay out of the playoffs and ended the Aaron Rodgers tenure in Green Bay in Lambeau, and that was a sweep for them last season. If they win tonight, that'll give them 4 straight wins over the Packers. So, but pretty challenging because they got some guys coming back from injury. Christian Watson's making his season debut, wide receiver for the Packers, and Aaron Jones is back as well. And he's a big workhorse for them as well.
I think
which defense is going to show up for the Lions?
Hopefully the good one.
Yeah. If you were to kind of compare the styles of offenses they've faced versus the Packers offense, you'd probably say it's close to the Seahawks, would you not?
I would say they're closer to Kansas City, probably.
Really? Well,
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
There's elements of every team all over the league. Kansas City does seem to run a little bit more, just the same way that Green Bay is going to do. Look, Jordan Love has been great. He's first in ADOT right now, 3rd in deep throw rate. He's doing really, really well, but we'll see how things kind of work out. Detroit's defense, they tend to play the bend, don't break, which I'm not really that much of a fan of, but they've held their own for the most part this year. And I think they'll continue to do that tonight against Green Bay. Defense is one of the things that travels.
Yeah. Hey, we got a listener. Hey, listener, you got any questions about start, sit, or trades, or buy or sell or holds, anything like that? Just ask away in the chat. We'll answer live, discuss it. give you some good info. I'm kind of worried about the Packers pass rush. It's pretty damn good. Rashawn Gary and rookie Van Ness, Preston Smith's getting older, but he's still somewhat effective. But they have the 8th highest pressure rate, 8th highest pass
rush win rate.
Pass rush win rate. They're 14th in pass rush
On
grade.
fire tonight.
I know, and 7th in blitz rate. So Rashawn Gary has a 31.8 win percentage, and he's second only in the NFL to that beast Myles Garrett. Jesus, what he did to that poor team last week. But Taylor Decker's back. David Montgomery's back. And Penei Sewell can move from left tackle to right tackle now. I mean, he can play anywhere on that line, but center, I'm guessing. He probably could play center.
We've got somebody in the comments.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Trade half point PPR Higgins for Monty. I have Chase and Waddle already. Oh God.
My running backs are H.N., Rashad White, and Brees Hall.
Right. Isn't Rashad White pretty Matt, you were saying earlier to me on the phone, he's got a high snap rate.
Yeah, he does. Last week he played 90% of snaps.
Yeah.
Which was a career high.
And Monty would be a nice addition to that because he's going to get his 18 touches a game.
Monty would be a good addition. A-Chain, he's not somebody that, you're not going to get 18 to 20 carries out of him week over week, just like he got last week. I think he had 18 carries. Rashad White, look, volume is king in fantasy football. With him, he stays on the field a lot. There are some concerns about him. He doesn't really break many tackles. I don't know why. It could be lower body strength. And right now the Jets are in disarray.
Right.
Since you've already got Chase and Waddle, I'll trade Higgins for Monty.
I would too. I know you love Higgins a lot, so I was kind of thinking maybe you might say no, but I totally agree with you on that. I think that would up your running back room greatly on your team. Achan is, we'll see what he does there. I know he had a huge game last week, but with Mostert there too. But that's a good thing too. I do it as well.
Yeah, and Monty's underrated in the pass game too.
Yeah. And like you already have Chase and Higgins on the same team's rough. That's rough. I'll do it in DFS. But
yeah, I mean, I see the logic in it, and it's a risky route to go. So Josiah, hey, props to you for having the stones. Looks like he replied, I have great wide receiver depth too.
He has Tutu, Gabe Davis, and Marvin Mims.
Gabe Davis, I'm not as high on it as some other people just because of the inconsistency.
Yeah, I am for this week. I am for this weekend for him, just because we expect that to be kind of a shootout. I think it's got the highest point total there, but the Bills and Dolphins. But
it's 54.
Yeah,
that's a big nut to cover.
I like him this week, but most of the time I don't like Gabe Davis. But I would, if you are able to start him this week, I probably would.
I mean, I play the matchups between Tutu and Gabe Davis.
I would throw Gabe Davis in a flex in a heartbeat.
How many of those do you have to start, Josiah?
Oh, that's true. I'm thinking that might be a 3 wide receiver league, and it's probably not. When you play in so many fantasy football leagues, you get confused real easily on who's on what and nothing, because you never want to pick all the same players for your teams, as much as
you need to manage your exposure.
as much as you possibly can. So but yeah, Lions tonight, I expect them to win. It's going to be a tough game, NFC North rivals, but we've had their number recently, and Dan Campbell is going to be ballsy tonight on the road. Well, he's ballsy anywhere.
Yeah, man. That's my Dan
Looking
Campbell
at Josiah's team. Oh, go ahead.
That was my Dan Campbell impression. Yeah, man.
Looking at Josiah's team, it looks like he went zero RB and hit, especially with Rashad White. Monty, he probably got in the 6th or 7th round. So It's a nice looking squad. 2 wide receiver, 1 flex.
Mm.
So let's see.
Yeah.
So I'm starting Chase and Waddle at wide receiver. I'm starting Rashad White and Monty at running back. And then for the flex, I'm going between Achan and Gabe Davis. Brees Hall, that offense just looks like crap right now.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to trust the talent, there's no way Zach Wilson is going to beat any team through the air. So, load
Absolutely
up the
not.
box.
Yep, absolutely not. Whoa, Jesus, technical deal here. All right, moving on. We'll move around unless he's got more questions on there. We'll respond to him right away. Cool, guys. We're good with that. Or did Ramey, did you have anything more about Lions and Packers? I'm sorry, we kind of just took over there.
It's your guys' team.
We'll let you talk the whole time about the Colts.
Okay.
It'll be a brief conversation.
Yeah. I did see it was the first time in like 25 or 30 years that the Lions were favored at Green Bay.
That's wild.
I believe it. Yep. Yeah. No kidding. Let's talk about the international series starts this weekend. There'll be a Sunday game at 9:30. Last question, Goff or Watson? Goff all day long. There's so much pressure on Watson. Sorry. I didn't realize you already put it up. On Watson, I just don't think he's going to be able to handle it. Since Chubb left, I go Goff all day long, and I go Monty all day long too. Well, depends on the matchup, but I go David Montgomery out of the game
for this week.
Monty.
So I'm going to be a little contrarian. I'm going to take Deshaun Watson this week over Goff. Goff has struggled historically on the road. The Browns are getting the Ravens at home. That Ravens defense has not looked like the Ravens defense of old.
They got a lot of injuries too.
They've got a lot of injuries.
Yep,
that's true.
So yeah, that'd be a matchup play. If Goff is at home or in a dome, it's not even a thought for me. But with Goff on the road, then I'm going to play the matchups.
That is a good point. I kind of homered that pick right away, but because I am a Lions fan. But yeah. But the international series is starting. Josiah, thanks for joining. Don't forget to subscribe, please, if you haven't. We're on here every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, recapping the previous week's action on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, obviously tonight, we're talking about the upcoming weekend games. We started about the international series. It hits London this weekend. You can watch 14 hours of football this weekend on Sunday from 9:30 to roughly 11:30.
Did we answer Snowman's question?
I didn't even see it. Didn't even see it. That's Jesus.
It's on the screen.
Oh, Josiah, thank you for subscribing. We appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks, Josiah.
Thanks for being part of the Stoned On Sports universe.
I apologize, Drew. I thought Josiah was your question on Montgomery or Gainwell. But yeah, I think we're all consensus on Monty tonight for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Atlanta, London, heading across the pond. Jacksonville needs to quickly regroup if they want to repeat as division champs. No?
Yeah, they kind of laid an egg at home against the Texans on Sunday and didn't really do much offensively until the second half. So going over to London to their home away from home, they go over there every year, at least once, sometimes twice a year. But the Falcons are also coming off a loss in Detroit. So two teams that both could use a win to get back on the right track. And I think the Jaguars should win, but I think it'll be a pretty close game just because of the travel and everything that goes with going to London. So I see it being a field goal game, and that's where the spread is. It's 3-point. Jacksonville are the favorites by 3. So, Atlanta's going to run the hell out of the ball. It'll be up to Jacksonville to try to stop that. And their run defense is okay. Where they struggle is against the pass, as you saw against the Texans. And that's where Atlanta struggles. So it's kind of strength against strength as far as the Falcons run game against the Jacksonville run defense. So I look for it to be a somewhat close game, but I think Jacksonville pulls it out.
So I'm about to say the most cliche thing ever, but this is a game that's going to be won in the trenches.
Yeah.
And when I look at Atlanta's offensive line compared to the Jacksonville defensive line, I'm taking the Falcons O-line there. They're top 2 or 3 line in the league. I think they're going to run the shit out of the ball. I don't think Jacksonville's defense is anywhere near as good as it has looked. And granted, they've not looked amazing, but that's a very rough defense. Atlanta's defense is pretty damn solid, and the Jags' O-line is porous, we'll call it. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game because Atlanta's going to keep the ball out of the ground, and they're going to do everything they can to hide Desmond Ridder. And I think I would take the Falcons and the points in this one, and I'm happily starting Bijan. I'm happily starting Tyler Algier. I think this might be a rough game for Calvin Ridley going up against that Atlanta secondary. So maybe Kyle Pitts makes an appearance. But this is going to be a lower scoring game. But you know what? I will take football at 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday with a nice hot plate of sausage gravy and
I knew
biscuits.
it was coming.
Oh, yes.
I knew
I'll throw down on that, and I'll be a happy camper.
The Jags haven't been horrible on the ground. They've averaged allowed 3.4 yards per carry. So that's not bad. But I think it kind of will be a slog fest. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I thought Calvin Ridley might actually have a decent game this weekend facing his former team that traded him while he was gambling.
One thing about
do you buy into the revenge game narrative?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I had an issue here. It wasn't working.
So, Kyle, I like that. I like that you brought up that stat about the Jacksonville run defense, but I think it's a little skewed because they played the Colts in week 1 when they didn't have Zach Moss or anybody out there that could run the ball, and they averaged 1.6 yards a carry.
I was waiting for you to bring something up like that.
So, while I think the Jacksonville defense is okay, I don't think it's as good as the stats indicate because of that first game against the Colts.
And the stats is what we have. And you do kind of want to weigh who they played, but the stats are what they are. And this is what we have. So this is the NFL,
Yep.
But we can move on from that. Game of the week, I'm thinking Dolphins at Bills. I think that's a huge game. Dolphins 3-0, Bills are 2-1. Buffalo is -2.5. And Ramey mentioned the total was 54. Yeah. I think it's going to go over.
That's another start them if you got them game.
Yeah, I say start all your Dolphins and start all your Bills. Anybody that touches the ball in those offenses can score.
Pretty much. Well, except for James Cook, who's on pace for over 1,800 total yards. 300 touches and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's gotta change. And at 1 p.m. it was announced that Jalen Waddle was out of the concussion protocol, so he is going to be back. It's kind of like the Bills' offense is great, but their defense has actually been pretty good as well. First in opposer passer rating, second in points allowed per game, second in total yards allowed, third in passing yards allowed. They lead the NFL with 9 takeaways. They're first in sack rate and first in league interception rate. And then you flip the coin with Miami's offense, best in the NFL so far through 3 games, leading the league in yards per game, passing yards per game, rushing yards per game, yards per play, scoring, and offensive expected points added. It's nuts.
Their offense is good.
It is very good. If you guys remember, they met in the wild card round last year. Tight game, 34-31. Bills hang on for that one. They could have lost several times. They should have just nailed it, but Josh.
And that was without Tua, too.
Yeah, exactly. Josh Allen missed. Yeah, who started for them? Oh, God. What's his name?
Well, did Teddy play and then get hurt during that game?
Was it Teddy or was it that Skylar Thompson or something?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So it kind of make me a revenge game a little bit, I guess. Mike McDaniel didn't characterize it as that in the media this week, but I can't wait to watch that game. That's going to be on.
I don't
If the
think
Lions are playing tonight, I'll do Bills and Dolphins at 1:00 on the other TV.
I don't think Mike
Absolutely.
McDaniel's capable of emotion, and I think that's a good thing. So he doesn't care about revenge. He just wants to score points and win ball games.
Yep. He's ruthless.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like him, man. He's funny. I like him a lot. He's a good coach. He's my favorite coach after Dan Campbell. So who do you think wins?
I think Miami goes up there and wins.
That's what you said in your lock that we'll talk about in a little
Yep.
little bit. I was shocked that you went with that game I would have taken the over in that game, but I probably wouldn't have touched much else.
Well, I've not been doing great with the locks, so I decided to go a little different than what I had been. So yeah, if I can get the Dolphins in points, I'm going to take the Dolphins in points.
Okay.
That's a smart man. Yeah, I think I'll take the points with Miami, and I think they win outright. And I think the game goes over.
Yep, same. I'm taking Miami as well. The NFL schedulers were pretty nice, giving them the at Buffalo game in September versus December. So
yeah,
even
that's
worse.
a huge advantage that they get to go up there before the weather starts to turn.
For sure.
I think this could be a moment in the season we look back and say, okay, this is where Miami kind of took the mantle away from Buffalo, and took control of that division, and Buffalo ends up just having to chase them the rest of the year. Because if Miami wins on Sunday, they'll effectively have a 3-game lead at that point, because they'll have the tiebreaker for the moment, and they'll have a 2-game lead because they'd be 4-0, and the Buffalo Bills would be 2-2.
Yeah, and I know, Kyle, you were talking about the Bills defense earlier, looking, pretty good. That is an old defense, and when you look at who they played against Aaron Rodgers for like 4 snaps. They had Jimmy G in the Raiders, and then Sam, I get sacked constantly, Howell in the Washington Commies.
Yeah. Well,
granted, that was on the road, but
do you
still.
know who Sam Howell sacked Sam Howell about 4 or 5 times the other day out of those 9 sacks. So
hey, if you could do it to yourself, you'd do it too.
And I wouldn't need to be married.
But I agreed. I think there's a case to be made where Miami just goes up there and pounds them, and just the Bills are deflated, and it's 42-10. I see that. I could see that happening.
That's within the range of outcomes.
Yep, because Josh Allen, you know what he likes to do.
Turn the ball over.
Yep.
And he's pretty damn good at it.
Pretty good. Let's see. Real quick, Broncos 0-3 at Bears 0-3. Denver -3.5. The total's at 46. All I'm going to do is ask things that you'd rather do than watch this game.
I think this game's going over the total. These are 2 of the worst defenses in the league. I think Eberflus is probably coaching for his job. They've had some.
Just do like you did last year.
Right. Just
don't even think about it.
Run and have some fun. Just go play some ball.
Yeah.
The Bears defense isn't scaring anybody.
No.
Now that doesn't mean that, I'm thrilled to start anyone from either offense, but when you have 2 and this is a DFS strategy of mine, when you have 2 even just mediocre or, high teens-ish offenses and 2 shitty defenses, you get points.
Yeah.
And people aren't usually on those games. On DraftKings, people are going to be all over the Dolphins and Bills.
Yep.
But who in the hell's jumping all over Broncos and Bears? Nobody.
And the weather looks great this weekend, mostly everywhere. No issues in Chicago with weather, so we'll see what happens there.
What's the weather in London going to be? Have you looked?
Nope, no? I haven't looked at that. That's true, but I did look at everything else. All right, enough of them. I was just going to touch on it for a second.
Okay, Mel Tucker.
Right. Yeah, of course. I'm going to file a lawsuit for wrongful termination. It's like right there in the contract that you signed, dude. Moral turpitude. You screwed up.
Turpitude.
Let's do Ravens at Browns, and then we'll talk about Colts after that and go into the Aces and Deuces and locks, and we'll be done. Ravens, Browns. Ravens are 2-1. Browns are 2-1. AFC North, big division matchup. Cleveland's -3. I like Cleveland in this game. Roquan Smith provided some material for the Browns bulletin board in their locker room, quoting, "We going over there to beat their tails in front of their wife and kids."
That's rude.
Yeah, it is. The pass rush there in Cleveland is just. I watched a bunch of clips on Myles Garrett from this weekend's game. That guy's just amazing. Yeah. Amazing. He does it all. And his, when you're kind of trying to get around the edge and you're leaning. And I mean, the guy was like this at a 45-degree angle trying to get around. I was like, this guy's amazing. And Lamar Jackson has struggled under pressure this season. He's only completed 6 of 16 and 1 interception with an 83% turnover worthy throw rate under pressure.
Are percents like percents?
Yep, I messed that word up, but
it's okay.
It's percents. The crossover. I don't know what I don't know what that means. Drew, I don't know what that means.
I like the Browns in this game too. I think Jim Schwartz has that defense rolling, and I don't think that the Ravens, in addition to the injuries that they have on offense with all of their running backs and Odell Beckham, not that he's a game changer at this point. I don't think that Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson have that offense figured out and clicking yet. I think it's a low-scoring game, and I think that at least for the Ravens, I don't think they'll score very many points. I think the Browns will cover and win pretty easily at home, with the weather being good. I think Deshaun Watson will have a decent game.
Yeah, I'm looking for, I would say like 250-2 out of Watson. I think Jerome Ford is going to have a good game. Look, we're talking about the Browns defense has given up 1 touchdown. The Browns offense has given up 2.
I see what you meant there, Drew. I remember seeing the clips they showed of that, and it looks intimidating when he's doing that. He's intimidating just standing there, but Myles Garrett's a beast. Matt, what were you saying?
I already said it.
Oh,
he finished his thought before hopped in there.
Nice. All right, Ramey, it's your time to shine, brother. Rams 1-2 are coming to town to the Colts, who are 2-1. I got the line as even, over under at 46. Another bad scheduling job by the league. No, the Rams had to go to Cincinnati. I don't know if they stayed around the Midwest or if they went back home.
They found a La Quinta Inn and Jeffersonville that they've been staying in for the past 5 days.
They reward them with this, trip back to the Midwest on a short week, no less. So sucks.
I like the Colts in this game. I think that the Rams defense is solid, but I think that Shane Steichen has shown that he is really creative offensively, and whether I think Anthony Richardson will start. It sounds like he's cleared concussion protocol and he's ready to roll, and he was only out a week, so I don't know that maybe Gardner Minshew will do some fill in for some series just in the event that Richardson's a little rusty. But I think that Steichen has shown that he's creative no matter who's back there behind center, and he's utilizing that limited offensive weaponry in the best way possible. And they've really been kind of fun to watch so far this year because of Steichen and that creative offense. I don't think the Colts are going to score more than 24 points, but I think it's going to be kind of a 24-20 type game, and the Colts cover and they win outright and they go to 3-1, and I'm taking my shirt off on Tuesday.
Nice.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And the Colts, especially the front seven on the Colts defense is pretty solid. They've got great depth along that offensive line. They arguably go 7 or 8 deep on that line. Nobody's other than DeForest Buckner. Nobody's really lighting up the scoreboard. But they're extremely deep and they're extremely solid. So they're going to be able to contain that limited run game. And I think that they will be able to kind of slow down Stafford and get enough pressure on him so that he isn't able to get 15 receptions to Puka Nakua. I know Tutu's there too. So if the Rams were to win, I think they're going to have to win it through the air, and I just don't think that they can do that over the course of 60 minutes with as good as that Colts front seven is. The Colts' weakness is their secondary, but I think they're going to be able to get enough pressures that it kind of helps that secondary out.
Yeah. Did you watch Trey Hendrickson destroy the Rams offensive line? And they finally showed up and confirmed what we thought in our division previews, that they were not going to be very good. They got 6 sacks. It's horrible. Guess which team is tied for second in the NFL with 12 sacks? The Indianapolis Colts.
Nice.
So Stafford hasn't had any time, and it's reflected in his numbers. He's declined in completion percentage, passing yards, and passer rating since week 1.
Their offensive line is not very good. The Rams.
No, it's not. I mean, like I said, Trey Hendrickson just destroyed them.
Yeah.
Just destroyed them. So.
Yeah. If the Colts have any chance of making the playoffs, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I thought they'd go under the 6.5 win total before the season started. But if they have any chance of going into the playoffs, they have to win this game. I think they do. It's at home. If they go 6-2 at home and 500 on the road, they're right in there, and they're on track to do that right now. So again, they've been a fun team to watch, and if Anthony Richardson continues to develop, they could be a little dangerous towards the end of the season. I don't see them making a deep playoff run this year or anything, but I think they're very pleasantly surprising so far.
Playoffs.
Well, there it is.
So yeah, the Colts ain't gonna make the playoffs. Sorry to piss in your Cheerios.
Hey,
one thing though, Michael Pittman has been a surprise. He's the only receiver in the league with 8 or more grabs in every game. Zach Moss played his ass off last week against the Ravens in the rain. I think he had something like 30 carries. Now, granted, the game went to overtime, but you still don't see those kind of numbers generally. You still got the bullshit with JT, but look, AR has looked good, and Steichen has done a good job of utilizing the talents of the personnel that he has. I think the Colts are going to win this game without a problem. I think this could be another sneaky shootout, a game played in the mid to high 40s. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a 24-21 game, something like that. I think it's going to be entertaining. And, look, the NFL is better when you have exciting young talent like Anthony Richardson. Now, it still remains to be seen whether or not he's going to be able to throw the ball with any degree of accuracy. But it's not like Peyton Manning didn't go out there and throw a few hospital balls himself. Rest in peace, Austin Collie.
That pass rush, it's going to get home. Stafford's going to be scrambling again for his life. The Rams have only forced 1 turnover all season. I just don't like their chances. And the Pittman stat that you mentioned is even more impressive because he did it with 2 different quarterbacks. So.
Yeah. And I know people are going to be excited about Kyron Williams this week. Now it's coming out that they're looking to limit his touches a little bit just due to his frame. He's not somebody you're going to give 20 carries to. So there's going to be other backs worked in there, especially when you're playing a defense like the ones that the one that the Colts have.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm excited. I think, and just to kind of close the loop on this, the Colts have shown that they're able to get out to early leads. And if they can get up 10 or 14 to nothing in the first or early second quarter, Stafford is going to be forced to throw, and that's going to play right into the Colts defense hands. So I look for that to happen. I hope Richardson comes out and shows that it was just kind of an anomaly, those injuries in the first 2 games, and he gets through the game healthy, and it'll be a fun one to watch.
Right. I mean, the way Richardson got his concussion, he got popped just after he crossed the goal line, and just, he was thrown off his feet.
Yep.
That it's kind of a fluky thing. And now hopefully he'll learn, to tuck his chin a little bit when you hit the ground and not just whiplash your dome onto the concrete.
Right. Agreed.
Any other games you guys want to hit on?
I don't have any more notes on any, but I'll be glad to talk about anything if anybody wants to.
There's Patriots Cowboys. Anybody think the Patriots have a chance going down there?
Where's that at?
It's in
in
Dallas.
Dallas. I think they have a chance to cover the 6.5. I don't see him winning outright.
Yeah.
I'm not starting anybody from New England with any kind of confidence there.
No.
And the Patriots defense is solid in their own right. So if you've got Tony Pollard, this is a game where you're looking for quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Temper your expectations a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know. The way Dallas looked last week, I could see New England skating out of there on a field goal win.
Revenge touches.
Yeah.
I like that.
That sounds weird.
Zeke gets some revenge.
I kind of like
touches.
it.
He hasn't been very efficient on his carries so far that he's had.
Well, he hasn't been very efficient for the past couple of years.
Well, touche. That is for sure. But yeah, I think he's going to want some. I think they'll give him some carries and stuff. We'll see what happens. Whether he can turn him into anything positive.
He's rolling into Dallas with his new girlfriend, and he's looking to show off little bit. Hey, give me some run. I know these mofos.
He's got a new girlfriend. Is she famous or?
It's the Patriots.
Yeah, it's
it was a metaphor.
Sorry, I'm a little slow, so forgive me. Okay, Aces and Deuces time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get it going. Let's get our graphics and cool stuff up there and whatnot. Find out where I put that stuff. Aces. Bam. So yeah, this is where we kind of each pick a couple aces, which are starts that we like this week, and some deuces. You can take a shit. Some people we don't want you to. Well, temper your expectations on them. I'd fade them. Maybe you got to start them because you got to start them. You got to do what you do. But we're kind of looking in that direction. Who wants to go first?
Kyle, why don't you start us off?
God, let me get out of the way. Thanks. I'm going with Lions tight end Sam Laporta tonight against the Packers. He is the tight end 2 overall on the season. He's finished every week as a top 8 tight end. He's quickly becoming a must start in a very shallow position. I like him. I like him tonight for like 5 for 60 and a touch. And number 2, who else do I got?
Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer versus the Raiders. As you know, Mike Williams went out for the year with an ACL tear. So he's next man up. He's now wide receiver 2. Definitely worth a wide receiver 3 or start flex this week, in my opinion. His snap rate last week after Michael Williams got hurt was Palmer was out there 84% and Johnston, the rookie, just 30%. So you know who they're going with. He's had some big games in the past when Mike Williams and Keenan Allen have been out. And I think 3 games last year, he had 28 targets for almost a 23% target share, including a game with 8 receptions, over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I start him with confidence this week versus the Raiders defense. Not so good. Ramey, your aces? Oh no, we're just going right to my deuces.
No, I'll do it. I'll do my aces.
Oh,
that's my fault. That's my fault.
I forgot how we were doing it this week, but go, man.
I apologize. I like to apologize to my family and my friends. And,
no, you're going to step back to focus on your family and faith?
Yeah, absolutely. Always. Faith, family, and football. Oh, my aces this week, I'm going Homer pick. Anthony Richardson coming back off the injury. I think that he's going to have a really nice game. He's shown that he can run the ball, and he's really electric with the ball in his hands. It's to be seen if he can accurately distribute the ball, but like we mentioned previously, Steichen's got him set up in a situation where he can thrive, and as long as he gets across the goal line on the ground, I think he's worth a start this week. So he's my first one. The second one is Texans wide receiver Nico Collins against the Steelers at home. That pass offense with CJ Stroud has been electric, and the weakness of the Steelers defense is that secondary. Going up against Patrick Peterson, I think there will be some opportunities for Nico Collins to have a good day. I could see him getting something like 7 for 90, 95 and a touchdown. So I think he'll have a nice game against the Steelers.
I think he's poised for a big day, whether it's Patrick Peterson or Levi Wallace might get some snaps on him as well. I mean, he's sure to get some safety. They're sure to get some safety help. But like you said, given that promising play of CJ Stroud, and he's actually been, for a rookie, he's been making some quick reads.
Yeah.
And Nico's a big guy. You just go up and get it.
Yep.
So I like that pick very much.
Thank you. Matt, off to you.
Nice. My first ace is Broncos running back Javonte Williams. He's going up against a Bears defense, and really the worst part of the Bears defense is all of it. So this is kind of a keep it simple, stupid pick. Bears defense is trash. They're going to run him out there. I'm thinking probably 80 and a touch from him, and he might be out there to ice the game too. I think the Broncos will probably take that one, just because Pete Carroll is a much better coach than Matt Eberflus. Or I'm sorry, Sean Payton.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Sorry, senior moment.
Yeah.
Not only is Sean Payton a better coach than Matt Eberflus, but he thinks he's a better coach than Matt Eberflus.
Yes, and he'll tell you about it too.
Yep, he has an ego. That's for sure.
I like that pick.
My second ace is Steelers running back Najee Harris. He's been kind of quiet this year. Depending on where you drafted him, you could even say disappointing. People are thinking that they're starting to see the rise of Jaylen Warren in that backfield. And while their snap share may be fairly close together, look at the touches that they're getting. Last week, Najee had 20 touches, 20 opportunities. He had 19 carries and 1 target. Jaylen Warren had like 9 total. So it's still Najee's backfield. That Texans defense is just garbage.
Yeah.
It's a pile of hot garbage. Again, this is a keep it simple, stupid. My picks haven't been the greatest, and so it's like, well, I mean, granted, Najee is kind of going out on a limb here, but damn it, I've got him on the listener league and team, and he's going to show up for me for once and not make me look like a moron.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's a great, good picks. I think those are good picks. I think that they'll both have a nice game. I will mention really quickly before we get into the deuces that I've been reading that the Steelers, if the Colts end up trading Jonathan Taylor, the Steelers are kind of one of those fringe teams that might be interested in bringing him in if he is made available and they can find the right deal. It's kind of the Steelers and the Ravens at this point. Everything that I've been seeing because of the injuries to the Ravens running backs, but I don't think the Colts are going to trade him.
No, he's not going anywhere.
Let's see. One quick break here. Kenny, one flex play. Roschon Johnson, Breece Hall, Dobbs, Addison, Kirk, Judy. Who would you guys pick?
What's your scoring system? Is it PPR half?
Dobbs, Addison. Who's the Vikings play?
Panthers. The Adam Thielen revenge game.
I mean, right now I say no to Roschon Johnson, half PPR.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say no to Roschon. I say no to Breece Hall. Dobbs, you got to make a decision here pretty quick.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, I don't like Christian Kirk against the Atlanta secondary. Jesse Bates has just been a killer down there. And Denver against, I'm leaning towards Addison against the
half
Panthers.
Point PPR.
Yeah, we already said that, Matt. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
My thoughts, Addison. You guys?
I'll agree with that. Roschon Johnson, he's starting to get more touches, but he's not there yet for me. Brees Hall, again, I mean, give me a bat so I can beat the shit out of this dead horse. That offense is one I'm shying away from.
I would say Dobbs if Christian Watson wasn't coming back tnite.
So I'll go
think long and hard about it.
I'll go off the board and keep this in mind. I'll go with Jerry Jeudy. The Broncos going up against the Bears defense. The Bears defense is trash. I think that Russell cook a little bit on Sunday, and I think Jeudy could be the beneficiary of that, especially being the half-point PPR. I think Jeudy could get a lot of targets and a lot of catches. So I'll be devil's advocate on this one. But as always, take it with a grain of salt.
God, I love that I made those pictures. Kenny, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday, but we'll answer any questions you got. I put if you check the chat up top, I put our socials into. Hit us up on there. We're available anytime, really. Matt, you just want to roll into your deuces and we'll go reverse order? Or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
So my deuces, Mike Evans, this week he's going up against the Saints and Marshawn Lattimore in particular. In 11 career matchups, he has exactly 2 games over 70 yards receiving. Marshawn Lattimore excels against the bigger bodied receivers. I know I picked Mike Evans last week, and you know what? If you have a problem with that, I don't care, because I'm jumping back up on that horse that says this is the week where Mike Evans shits the bed and becomes our king deuce.
And Lattimore lives rent free in Evans' head a little bit too.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
I mean, it'll still be a fun matchup to watch, though.
Let's hope none of them get tossed or anything, because they've had some scuffles and some fights there. So hopefully they keep it clean. But yeah, you've seen what Baker did against a real defense last week, and it was not much. And New Orleans is maybe not quite the caliber as the Eagles, but they're a damn good, solid defense. So I agree with that as well. I'm fading Mike Evans. Now, he's your wide receiver one. You know, you got to do what you got to do. You drafted him for a reason, not to sit on your damn bench. But I'll say it again: temper expectations. Temper expectations.
Awesome. And then my next deuce is Adam Thielen, and this is mainly because Bryce Young is going to be back. Andy Dalton is a professional goddamn quarterback. Bryce Young is a rookie, and I understand it's a revenge game for Thielen. But Bryce Young isn't getting anybody the ball with any kind of consistency other than Miles Sanders, really, who's leading the league in targets for receptions for running backs. Adam Thielen, no, put his ass on the bench. He had a nice week last week, but he's not going to go back to the fountain of youth again this week.
I like those picks, and I like the symmetry of 2 running backs for your aces and 2 wide receivers for your deuces.
Yes, that was accidentally intentional. So Thank you for noticing.
It's very pleasing to me. All right, I'm up. My deuces, I needed a couple of wins this week, so I went fairly chalk. My deuces are Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. I think not only are the Broncos coming in after giving up 70 and probably going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, but Justin Fields has demonstrated that he cannot deliver the ball through the air with any kind of consistency, especially the deep ball, and that is what DJ Moore does best. So I do not look for him to have a very good game, or for a matter of a fact, very good rest of his season. I would fade him, and not just this weekend. So my second one is Brees Hall, and I'll keep it short because we've already touched on him a couple of times. The Jets offense is I'm trying to think of a word that's worse than hot garbage. I was
flaming hot garbage.
Yeah. Dumpster fire comes to mind. Yeah. I was listening to McAfee's show, and Michael Lombardi was on there, and he was saying with the pickup of who the Jets pick up this week. I got
Simeon.
Yeah, Simeon. Zach Wilson could be out in the second quarter of this game. I know you got to get a guy up to speed, but Zach Wilson is not the answer. And if he falters in the first quarter against the Chiefs, that crowd is going to be livid, and I could see a change happening in this game this week. So as a result, I don't think Brees Hall is going to be able to do anything. That Kansas City defense is going to be focusing on the run because they can't do anything through the air. So that is why Brees Hall is my other deuce. And let's hope they don't go off this week and I actually end up in the win column for a couple of my picks.
Trevor Simeon's about to be the most popular man in New York.
He sure is.
Yeah. Oh man, I think he can manage for them. He had some good games in Denver.
I wanted to talk about this, and I won't dwell on it too long. But they keep talking about potentially trading for Cousins, the Jets. Why wouldn't a team like Atlanta do that?
Because they have Taylor Heineke already, and so they're going to get tired of Desmond Ridder sooner rather than later, and it's going to be Heineke time.
Okay.
And he'll keep them in playoff contention, and he'll play well enough to get some slack-jawed fans up in arms about them not starting him all the time or locking him up long-term. He's not that kind of quarterback, but for a segment of the season, yes, he can provide you some good value both in real life football and in fantasy just due to his athleticism. And he's kind of fearless with some of the throws that he tries to make, but he doesn't have the arm talent to back it up.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Kyle?
Yep. Agreed. My deuces or sits or players that I'm not liking this week. First one is Joe Mixon. And I'm well aware that you actually can't sit Joe Mixon. If you can, please do. But playing against that Titans run defense, it's just a bad matchup. Any running back that goes against that Tennessee rush defense is generally going to have a bad day. It's one thing to be an elite run defense. It's actually worse for running backs when the elite run stopping team is horrible against the pass. So I'm fading on him. And next one is Marquise Hollywood Brown, wide receiver for the Cardinals. He's topped 17 points twice. That's because he's managed to score twice. His volume's been great. He's had 17 targets over that span, but regression is about to hit hard, starting with this Sunday against the 49ers. The Cardinals will have to probably throw a lot, so his floor's solid, I guess. But I think it's best to put him on your bench this week. You got to have better options for wide receiver or flex than him. That 49ers seems, if you're going to say a weakness, it's probably their secondary, but it's just not going to happen for him this week.
All right.
Don't like it.
Good picks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I like them all. Yeah. Locks of the week. So we do the sports betting locks of the week. We each just kind of choose one that we think is going to be pretty good. I'll just get it rolling. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Saints under 40.5 points. It's minus 110 on DraftKings. At least it was a few hours ago. Jesus. The Saints, they rank 21st in offensive success rate. Tampa Bay Buccaneers rank 25th in offensive success rate. Jameis Winston's a capable backup because I'm assuming Derek Carr's not playing. I haven't heard for sure.
No, I think he's going to be out a few weeks.
Yeah, I think. And then you got, so something could happen. He'd be going against his former team, and Baker is still Baker, and he's going to be ugly against that New Orleans defense. I think explosive plays will be at a premium in this game, and both quarterbacks are going to struggle to sustain drives. So I'll take the under on the 40.5.
I kind of like Chris Olave this week. I think Jameis will push the ball down the field. He is not afraid to throw deep. With,
he loves frequency. Doing that. Yeah, 30-30 season. Let's not forget.
Hey, that 30-30 season won me a ship. So,
Kyle, the Kyle rub is in full effect, which is something different than it used to be before this podcast. Yeah. The over under has actually dropped a point. Now it's at 39.5. So,
ouch. Well, I'm still taking it, and
he's moving the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else?
All
Who's
right.
next? Who next?
I'll go. I think we alluded to this earlier. My lock of the week is Dolphins plus 2.5 at the Bills. I think that they win this game outright. I think I said that about the Titans last week going to Cleveland, and it was just flat out wrong. Cleveland pretty much dominated, but I think this is different. I think the Dolphins offense is humming. They get Jalen Waddle back. The defense is good enough, and with Josh Allen prone for turnovers, if the Dolphins score first and get up early, I could see Allen kind of throwing a couple of critical interceptions and that game getting away quickly. I see it being much more likely a Dolphins blowout than even a Bills 7 to 10 point win. So I'm taking the points and I'm running with it.
Yeah. So it's like I didn't pick right last week, but please listen to my choice
Yeah.
this week. I mean, for sure, it's a done deal.
I'm pretty much like everyone on the internet and on TV, except I talked about my failure of last week. If I were a true pundit, I would have just ignored it.
And the week before that.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. That's in the past.
Right. Why you got to bring up old shit?
Yeah. We're looking forward here on the Stoned on Sports podcast.
Yeah. I think Miami will win there too. Matt, what you got?
My lock of the week, Vikings -4 at the Panthers. Vikings defense is not amazing. The Panthers have a pretty solid pass rush, but right now Bryce Young isn't in a spot in his development where he can take advantage of the deficiencies in the Vikings defense. They're going to try and slow things down quite a bit. And he's another guy who they try to hide, not as bad as what happens to Ritter down in Atlanta. The Vikings are going to put up some points. They're the more experienced team. Kirk Cousins looks like he's in the midst of a career year at this point. I think they safely cover the 4. I think they win by a touchdown, even in Carolina.
Yeah, I think so too. The pressure's on them to get a win, and Carolina's a good team to get that against. So
yep, I agree. I think this will be a 7 to 10 point win for the Vikings, and they get off the schneid. Good pick, Matt.
I mean, I don't want the Vikings to win because they're NFC North foe, but yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Well, it won't be long, and there'll be nothing more than an afterthought in the division race. But it won't start this week.
I saw today. I knew this, and we've talked about it. They were 11-0 in 1-score games last year, and they're already 0-3 in 1-score games this year. So, everything regresses to the mean, right?
Sure does. Yeah, you knew that wasn't going to be replicated again this season.
Yeah,
we definitely talked about that in the division preview for sure.
Yeah,
the universe likes balance.
Sure does. Yeah, go Lions. Heck yeah. We'll have some 4 Pillars videos this weekend as well, right, Matt?
That would be correct.
Yep. We'll give you your 4 core, or what we like to call our 4 pillars for DFS NFL. We'll stick to the main Sunday slate, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sunday main slate on DraftKings.
Yep. Bam. So look for those on YouTube as well, Sunday morning, sometime like around 11:30. Usually when the injury report likes to come out, we just like to make sure that everything's kosher so we don't put out bad info. What's the hand signals about? I don't understand.
4 core.
Yeah, core 4. Pass rush win rate. Yeah. So we'll have those for you Sunday morning. What else we got? Social media thing. Throw that up and stuff.
All right, will do.
Good show. CK chicken drumsticks. Chicken drumsticks with garden salad, garden tomatoes, and mac and cheese tonight.
Shoot,
dude, man, homemade mac and cheese, or is this some craft or something? But we're always available. Hit us up on the socials. We're on Facebook, Stoned On Sports Podcast, and you took it down, so I can't.
Well, I mean, it was up for like 30 seconds.
Well, I was talking about somebody else. And then Instagram and TikTok at Stoned On Sports Podcast, and whatever you're calling Twitter or X these days, we're at Stoned On Sports 1. We'll always post updates and things on there and replays of our episodes and other little tidbits. And I threw up about Damian Lillard. We could talk about that as we trail out of here. Shocker. When Ramey sent the text yesterday in our group text, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked. I think that's the Suns and the Bucks got better. I think Nurkic, yeah, fits better than Ayton did down there, and they were able to get out of Ayton. Just seemed to be miserable.
He's not a player.
in
He
Phoenix.
doesn't even.
Yeah.
He doesn't give his all.
So
he's always horrible.
I'm sure what Portland is hoping for, and I'm kind of burying the lead by talking about Portland. Portland's hoping he goes up there and just puts up numbers, and they can trade him to some unwilling suspect. That's not right. Unwilling participant midseason, and they're already looking to trade turn Drew Holiday around. And
Yeah.
I heard some rumblings that the Pacers might be interested, but that doesn't really. I don't know if that
Fit.
fits with Halliburton there. So. But the Bucks are the overwhelming favorite now, with Lillard and Giannis and Middleton and Lopez there. They've still got a bench. They're going to put up a ton of points, and they're going to be fun to watch. They may not play as good defense as they did in past years, but they may not have to, because they may be putting up 130, 135 points a game.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think just having watched Ayton over the past couple of years, and mainly in the playoffs, when you expect 100% every single night, I don't see him ascending to the upper echelon of players. And I remember, I don't know, a year and a half ago, there was a little bit of smoke about Detroit trying to trade for him. Right now, I think his best case scenario is like Miles Turner from 3 years ago. I think that's his upside now. Back before Miles could really do a whole lot, he was there to rebound and block shots, and that's about it.
The best thing, and this is again something we could talk about in January or even March, April, around playoff time. But the best thing that happened to the Pacers is the Suns matching that offer sheet for Ayton, because I think I'd be sitting here a very miserable Pacers fan if Ayton was my starting center and Miles Turner was either in Phoenix or LA or wherever he may be. So seemed to light a fire under Turner too. He's been playing really well and got rewarded as a result. So kind of going.
He's put in the work.
There. Yeah,
Sure.
Absolutely.
Coolio, guys.
All right.
I'm ready for some Thursday night football.
Yes, I'm ready for some supper.
Yeah, that too. Go Lions, FTP.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us tonight, fellas. Thanks for
You're
joining
welcome.
us tonight, everyone. Yes, awesome. We'll be back Tuesday night at 7 Eastern as usual. Anything else, fellas?
Good luck to you boys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll be texting throughout the game about it.
Yeah.
So,
and with you as well.
and
I got a couple bets in.
Nice.
Cool beans. Miles slander. Oh my, it's going to be a fun NBA season. Yes, it will. Thanks for joining again, Drew. Really appreciate your support. We'll see you.
You used the wrong
later.
your.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
Yes.
Don't forget our socials.
No, I didn't. Oh, yep, I did.
I know.
use the
I'm
second
just throwing them up there again one more time.
Yeah, throw them up
Just-
there. Yep.
Throw them out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm onto the wave. Let's go, folks.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye-bye now.
everybody.
Thanks.
Have
See
a
you
good
next
night.
week, folks.
Gracias.
Thanks for watching.
Adios.